comes that tail in black, baby. Duval with the 88th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. The Jacksonville Jaguars select Khalid Ransom, DB Tulane. With the 89th pick in the 2005 draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Wyatt Milam, guard, West Virginia.
When you see me go out there on the field, you're going to see someone that loves the game of football, someone that enjoys it. They're going to play through the whistle, they're going to give everything they got, and they're not going to let anyone touch Trevor Lawrence. And I'm going to make that promise to them, and I'm going to make that promise to Trevor.
With the 104th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Facial Tootin, running back, Virginia Tech.
Speed for Liam Cohen.
Hand off Tootin, breaks the tackle. He could go. Facial Tootin, 55-yard house call.
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark.
Hey, welcome in, everybody. Happy Monday to you. Happy Cinco de Mayo to all who celebrate Mexico's victory in the first Battle of Puebla, Tony, over the French in 1862. No notes, ladies and gentlemen. No notes. That's how you cram on Wikipedia. Every year I do it, and usually I'm looking it up on the air. What is Cinco de Mayo anyway? So has nothing to do with Mexican independence. It was a battle they won. They by the way, they lost the second Battle of Puebla. But hey, good for them. Got the first one. Tony, how was your weekend? Everything
It was good? Yeah.
Yeah? Anything, any landmarks, anything like that?
Oh, no, nothing.
Denmark did enough for all of us.
I know he did.
This weekend.
Yeah.
This guy.
Yeah, how much do you want to know about my weekend?
What up, Unc? Huh?
What it do?
Congrats, Unc.
Thank you, sir.
Now, how many nephews and nieces does this make for you?
Number one.
Number one?
Yep.
He's not sure. I gotta check with my sister. No, your sister had a little baby girl this weekend.
Yes, she did. Saturday.
Congratulations,
Thank you, sir.
Newest representative of the West Side.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome. Let's see. What else did you have? Baldwin? Did Baldwin do anything in track this weekend?
4x1 regional champ.
What?
So we had to automatic qualify for state.
Wait a minute. I heard Bowles was the best in the 4x100.
Yeah, well,
I heard it from you, by the way.
Sometimes giveth and taketh.
And what happened with Bowles there? You guys just flat out outraced him, huh?
So you can look at the live results as it's happening, and we came first across the track, and they said DNF. So I don't know if they dropped the baton or a kid left early. But they had a DNF. They had one of the fastest times in the state, and we got first.
But you weren't there to sabotage it. It just happened.
It just happened. Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing of your doing.
No.
So
I was here, and they were pissed.
So what happens when a team like that? They just don't go to state. Is that
correct?
It?
Yeah, your season's done.
Because you have to perform at that moment, right? Yeah. That's too bad for Bowles, but I'm happy for Baldwin. Happy for Coach Denmark getting it done. So much so, Tony, that, if you've got a guy who is this hot, right? He's Unc. He's got the championship going to states with the 4x100 team. You probably want to get a piece of that guy, right? I don't know. Maybe his truck. What happened with the truck on Saturday night?
I left the car unlocked, and
now is this a frequent occurrence that you leave it unlocked?
No.
Okay.
This just happened one time. I went to the driving range Saturday night, and I guess I just forgot to lock it. And somebody was walking. I guess they thought it was their truck, and I had to go out there, and I don't know if it was a homeless person. The person was drunk, and we had an encounter. Had to call a popo, and they
didn't seem like they seemed confused. You said, right? They thought it might have been their truck.
Yeah,
like they
I feel
had
like
a white
that person at one point in time had a white truck, and he just got in my truck, and he
so
thought
no
it was
harm
his.
done though.
Yeah.
You didn't need to flex on him or anything like that.
No, nothing
so,
like that.
all right, glad you got to go to the driving range.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Dylan calls me. It's 6:59. I'm just about to shut off my phone in the movies, Tony, because I'm going to see Thunderbolts, asterisk. And Dylan calls me, and I'd just be like, go to voicemail, but I don't check my voicemail. So I'm like, yeah, what's up? And he's like, yeah, probably not going to make golf tomorrow because he had the new niece coming into the world and all this stuff. So congrats on a big weekend for you there, Denmark. You kept your truck amidst all that.
Yes,
That's a win.
I think the truck is the most important thing out of all that.
I wouldn't mention that to your sister.
I'm just
All right. All right. You can mention it to the high school racers, okay, if you want to. Don't mention that to your sister, by the way. Shout out.
And if you feel that way, I think you need to change some things, Dylan. Like,
yeah.
seriously.
These are jokes, people. These are
reevaluate
jokes.
your life, all right? Elena is your niece's name, right?
Yes,
All right.
Elena.
There you go.
I got to spell it out every time before I say it.
Elena. Yeah, Elena.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I'll just call her Little E until she gets.
Little E.
Well, yeah, that's not
No,
bad.
let's not
yeah.
get confused around these parts. All right, everybody. So there you go. You've caught up on the weekend. My son came home from college. I saw Thunderbolts, and I played a little golf. So there you go. By the way, like Thunderbolts a bunch, but I pretty much like just about every Marvel movie to one degree or another, but I laughed out loud in this one several times.
Seems that's the angle they were going for, yeah.
Best end credit scene for my personal taste in Marvel Cinematic history, but I will leave that for all of you to discover if you go to see the movie.
Cool.
So,
yeah.
there are two of them, by the way. Stick around for that. All right, Tone. So Denmark tells me today, Denmark is much more plugged into the social media sphere than we are. Like, we post a question of the day. Like, I'm not, what do you call that? Engagement farming? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we want some feedback so we can talk about it on the show. That's the engagement we're farming, right? Like, I'm not trying to get clicks or whatever. You say, if you see on a typical weekend, I don't tweet at all. You know, some weekends I get in the mood and I'll tweet a dozen times, whatever. You
Same
know?
way.
So it's not, it is whatever the mood strikes me. But Dylan told us, typically, we get a few thousand impressions on our question of the day. You know, if we throw a poll out there, a big poll will get up to 1,000, 1,100 people. We just throw it out there. And generally, once the show's over with, the voting really slows down. But so you get it 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, however many impressions you get on that. Dylan, what did I guess we struck a nerve. We asked about expectations for Trevor Lawrence last Friday.
Yeah, we had 110 replies or comments, and we had 48,000 impressions.
Yeah, that's odd. Like Tony asked, like, who shared that, or like where did all those impressions come from? But what I guess that just means somebody's basically clicks on the tweet to read it, you know, or
That's my impression. Yeah.
yeah. So whatever. You know, look, people are interested. He's the quarterback. If you wonder what moves the needle around here, Trevor still moves the needle.
No doubt
obviously.
about that. Yeah.
Does he move? Who's the prime needle mover right now with the Jacksonville Jaguars? Is it Trevor? Is it Liam Cohen? Is it James Gladstone? Is it Travis Hunter? I don't think there's another. And that's no insult to Brian Thomas Jr., who was their best player last year. Okay?
I think
at least certainly on offense.
To answer that, in my mind, it would be last week, it would have clearly been Gladstone.
Because in
the
during
draft is happening.
The post-draft.
Right?
Okay.
And I think the few weeks leading up to that, that's when the GM is going to be kind of the star.
Yeah.
Right? Like that kind of thing. So that's where all the shine's going to be. To some degree, Hunter is, but I don't know. I think Hunter and Trevor Lawrence have the potential to draw the same kind of attention, right? Like when you ask a question about him, I think Trevor, it's more direct, right, with fans right now. With Hunter, it's all a guess, like how they're going to use him, what to expect, like all these different kind of things. With Trevor, we got 4 years built up of expectations, how you felt about him coming in, what's happened in these 4 seasons that he's been here, especially the last year and a half with the injuries and everything else that's gone on. So asking a question about Trevor Lawrence at this point about what do you expect, right? Like after everything that you've been through with him to this point, he's got the long-term deal. He's got a new head coach, all those different. I do think we hadn't asked a question that direct about it because we've had too much to deal with. Right, for the
Got
last
a lot going on, sure.
Right, for the last 2 months with the coach and the GM, and then they're up at the combine, and then all
and
these
it's
different
tough to
things.
ask, like, what do you expect from him without knowing that he's going to add Travis Hunter?
Now we know what
to the
pieces
team,
he's
for
going to be
instance.
playing with.
Yeah. I do think, Tone, look, there are those, and I think we hear a lot more positivity. I don't know if it's that like, I don't mind you calling up and critiquing Trevor Lawrence.
No.
It's the Trevor Lawrence is going to get cut. Trevor Lawrence is not going to be here. We got to bench Trevor Lawrence.
People get silly with it.
I mean, it gets to an absurd degree, in my opinion, but I think that overwhelmingly, Jaguar fans, the people that we interact with on social media, the people that live in the city, the people that listen to this program, are pro Trevor, that at least they still haven't had the optimism beaten out of them yet, right? That they still believe that, hey, okay, we got the right coach now. We've got the right weapons around him. He is settled into his NFL career. We're going to see the best. And look at some of the replies we got, right? What are your expectations this year? Top 5 quarterback. I'm like, that is pretty freaking lofty.
Yeah.
Because, maybe he's been on the borderline of the top 10 or maybe stuck in there for a time period. But I think outside of here, though, it's much greater. It's a much greater level of doubt with Trevor Lawrence, just nationally. And I think most of what you're seeing with Travis Hunter is like 100% positive in Jacksonville, 99% positive in Jacksonville.
There's nothing to be negative about yet. Yeah.
Well, the outside of Jacksonville, though, I think there is, I don't know what the split is, but I think that there is a school of thought that the Jags gave up too much among some.
They
to
paid
get
too
Travis
much.
Hunter.
No one's going to play 2 positions on both sides of the
Can't
ball in
do
the
it.
NFL. Like, all those things will come in from outside Jacksonville, and that may be how all those things play out. But what would be the point of talking about it like that's what's going to happen in Jacksonville? Why? Like, there's no reason to approach it that way here until there's a reason to approach it that way. You think every other city is looking at whoever they drafted last weekend and saying, this is why this is terrible, right? Like, no one reacts to the draft that way. They made the move to go get the best player in the draft. He's going to play 2 ways to at least some degree. I have no idea how that's going to work out in the National Football League, but I'm really curious and excited about what it will be.
In about 3 months, a little less than 3 months, when training camp opens up, who is the guy that people will be talking about nationally more about this team? It's going to be Travis Hunter.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because they're going to want to see what he
check-ins all
does.
the time, yeah.
Right. He's got to, can he do this? And Trevor Lawrence is going to be kind of, oh, by the way, he's part of the Travis Hunter story. I really think that that's the way a lot of the national media is going to cover this. And that's fine. It doesn't really, in the end, however they cover
Trevor's kind of old hat, and that's fine.
A little bit, right? Because he's been around the block. But in terms of, it was interesting because, I do think that for Jaguar fans, we really haven't had that kind of offseason referendum on it without knowing exactly all the pieces he's got around him like we do now. One of those pieces being Brenton Strange. Tony, our question of the day has to do with Brenton Strange. It's very similar to what we asked about Trevor last week as well. Now, where do you see him fitting in? And, somebody asked last week, well, I don't understand why you ask for all these arbitrary stats on Trevor Lawrence. I'm like, read the question. I asked you, what are your expectations? I answered it without giving a single stat.
Yeah.
I don't know where you got the idea that it was a stat-based. You can answer it stat-based if you want to, and you can do that with Brenton Strange. If you want to give we didn't specifically say give us receptions, yards, touchdowns, pancake blocks, whatever. Just, but if you want to give that, or if you just want to give an impression of how you think he's going to fit in to this offense overall and what kind of season he's going to have, that's your Chad and Sandy Real Estate Jaguars Today question of the day. Expectations for Brenton Strange in his first year in Liam Cohen's offense, which doesn't necessarily feature the tight end, but when called upon, certainly ran it through Kate Otten for nearly a month last year when Mike Evans and Chris Godwin were both sidelined. So what do you think goes down this year? And, you've got Brian Thomas Jr., you got Travis Hunter. They're going to hoover up a lot of targets out there. Is Strange the third leading receiver for this football team? That's one way to look at it. Does he fall behind a running back or two, or is there another wide receiver that's going to be more potent than him? We'll get into all that coming up today. We'll also continue to look back at the 2025 NFL Draft. Chad Ryder is going to join us from NFL.com, and I'll just spoil it. He gave the Jags an overall A- grade, which is very solid. I think he went A-, B for the 3 days, each of the days, but we'll go through. Last year, for instance, raved about Cam Little. Like, we're just going to go skip past. He's like, no. Let me tell you about Cam Little. And Cam Little went on to have, obviously, a phenomenal rookie season for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So hopefully that's one position they don't have to think about for a long, long time. But we'll get into that and a whole bunch more today. If you want to talk Jaguar football in all its many forms, We invite you to join the program on the Checkmate Coding phone lines at 641-1010. Same number for the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Hop in the YouTube virtual studio chat if you'd like to and give your thoughts there, or hit us up on social media at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, and at 1010XL Denmark.
Duval.
The champ, Coach Champ, Unk, whatever you want to call Denmark today. You can go with that because he had quite the busy weekend for himself as we laid out. All right, we're ready to get this week kicked off. You're listening to Jaguars Today. Keep it right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. It's the way the game was meant to be heard. Raw, real, and right in your ear.
Right side coming! Touchdown! Yeah!
Feel the energy on 1010XL. Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Enhance your home with Renewal by Anderson's superior craftsmanship and timeless design. Right now, buy 2 windows or patio doors and get the third at 60% off. Plus, 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. This offer expires May 31st. Renewal by Anderson, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
Leon Cersei here. Let's be real. I used to eat like a lineman because I was one. And man, those habits are hard to break. I needed help to stop with the munchies and lose weight. But now, I'm bringing sexy back. I call Physician Guided Weight Loss. Their medical team is helping me shed pounds safely with a custom plan to help me slim down. And their firm pricing means same price every month. Hey, you want to bring sexy back? Visit Physician Guided Weight Loss at pgweightloss.com.
Say goodbye to glasses and contacts with customized vision treatments at Bowden Eye & Associates. Hey, Hicken here. Dr. Bowden and his expert team bring you all the latest options like Evo implantable Coliber lenses, refractive lens exchange, or traditional LASIK. Tailored just for you. Imagine waking up to clear vision. No hassle, no fuss. You ready to see the difference? Call now or visit BowdenEye.com for a free screening. Bowden Eye & Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
Dreamfinders Homes, Monday.
On Jaguars Today.
For the greenest, luscious lawn on the block, choose the local legends, Roundtree Sod. Don't just settle for ordinary. Let Roundtree Sod deliver you a picture-perfect lawn. To get a free estimate, call 7414-SOD. 7414-SOD.
Have you got concrete or asphalt rubble piling up? Arcosa Crushed Concrete will pay you for it and recycle it. They're just minutes from Everbank Stadium on Talleyrand. Call Arcosa Crushed Concrete and get paid for what you don't need. ArcosaCrushedConcrete.com.
Right now, they're on their way to disrupt your life, make you uncomfortable, and rob you. Don't bother calling the police. They can't help. That's right. Summer heat and humidity are about to attack North Florida again. You know what to do. Call Mike Merritt. Mike Merritt's Heating and Air has a license to chill. When heat and humidity are attacking you, Mike Merritt provides a comfortable chill at a bargain price. Mike has been keeping North Florida comfortable for 30 years. Mike Merritt technicians are never paid commissions, meaning you'll never be pressured to buy something you don't need. And Mike Merritt knows cooling issues can arise anytime. They don't just happen during business hours. So Mike Merritt never charges overtime fees. When you need us, we're here for you. Remember, in the fight against heat and humidity, Mike Merritt has a license to chill. Visit merrittair.com. Florida license number CACO 50384.
Go inside your home team's locker room with Jags beat reporter Hayes Carline.
Check out my blog at 1010XL.com.
So you can catch all the news and nuggets you need to know.
My blog is brought to you by Roland Reese Plumbing,
where quality and experience count.
Transmission troubles? I'm Robin Sidbury, owner of Action Transmission Specialist on Merrill Road. So come in and see how we can help solve your transmission troubles. We service all makes and models. Remember, get traction. Call Action at 744-0755.
It's Work Zone Awareness Week, Florida. Every year, lives are lost in work zones because of speeding and distractions. When you see orange cones, remember, slow down, follow the signs, and stay focused. Workers are counting on you to get home safely, and so are their families. Let's work together to prevent crashes and save lives. A safety reminder from the Florida Department of Transportation. Slow your roll. Safety's the goal.
Jacksonville, you know a good defense wins games, and a good fence protects your home. Frank Frangie here. Coil Fencing has been around the block since 1927. Literally, they probably fenced it too. From tough chain link to sleek aluminum fences your HOA will love, Coil is the name to trust. Nearly a century strong and still standing tall. Call Coil today. You can trust them. Call 904-356-4821 or visit coiljacks.com. That's COYLE Jacks.com.
A lot goes into taking care of your property. You need equipment with more reliability and versatility built in, like Kubota BX and L Series compact tractors to get the job done right, Z Series mowers that deliver a quality cut, and Sidekick utility vehicles where durability meets speed. Visit Coastal Equipment for a demo today.
Greater power for the great outdoors. Coastal Equipment.
Coastal Equipment on New Kings Road and in McClenny.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler, and this Mother's Day, we'd like to help you celebrate Mom with up to 40% off our entire inventory. GIA certified natural diamonds and lab-grown diamonds, beautiful colored gemstones, designer brands, custom jewelry design, and Monahan Jewelers offers interest-free financing on any purchase, so get something special with a payment you can afford. Come celebrate Mom with fine jewelry at up to 40% off at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Mother's Day is coming, so come to Jacksonville Flower Market and pick the perfect bouquet for the special mom in your life. They even customize the bouquet so it's exactly what she wants. Mention 1010XL and get 15% off. Jacksonville Flower Market off Beach and Southside.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
I think being an uncle is really affecting Denmark, Tony. I just was noting that after all this beautiful golf weather we've got starting on Wednesday, at least according to the forecast, like at least 5 straight days of rain. Dylan goes, yeah, we need it, though. Like, what are you, 80?
Yes. Man, my grass is so brown.
Is it?
It's terrible.
Now, where do you live? You live in a condo? What do you live in?
No, I live in a house.
You live in a house.
Yeah,
okay, so you got a house like that. You rent the house?
Yes.
With a roommate, and you are responsible for taking care of that brown yard, huh?
Correct.
All right. Well, get on it, man.
And I don't like cutting, dust bowls. I like cutting grass.
I hear you.
You know what I mean?
Something satisfying, the older you get, the less you care about that because you're old. But when I got a house, bro, like I loved mowing my lawn for years. Loved mowing my lawn, with a push mower and never. I got a big yard too, and you get a riding mower. I don't want a riding mower. I want to push my mower around. I want my little 4-year-old son with his little plastic lawnmower following right behind me. It was awesome back in the day, man. So, all right. So they've been doing some work over at SI.com, Jaguar Report. Obviously, we had John Shipley on last week to talk about it. By the way, Demetrius Harvey, Florida Times Union on Wednesday, will be in studio with us this week. Chad Ryder coming up in like 10 minutes from NFL.com. But they did a piece on is Jacksonville the best landing spot for Travis Hunter. And, there was what is the best landing spot? Is Kansas City, right? Like, okay, yeah, we don't have Andy Reid. We don't have Patrick Mahomes. Mm-hmm. Plenty of guys can succeed in Jacksonville, and they note that in the piece as well. Like, would he have been better off with the quarterback mishmash in Cleveland? I mean, if you thought the Shedeur Sanders hype is high now with the number 1 selling jersey as a 5th-round pick, imagine if Travis Hunter was there. You think there's much of a chance Tony Shedeur Sanders is not going to be starting a bunch of games for that team right away or very early? Yeah. I don't know if that was the. In fact, when you look, Dylan and I were looking at this morning. You go back into, I want to say March. There was an interview Dion gave, and he was asked, "Where's the best place for Shedeur?" And he goes, "Man, I can't say that. It'll go viral." Right? And the guy goes, "Cleveland?" He goes, "Huh? What'd you say?" He goes, "Cleveland." And he laughed.
Yeah.
He goes, we're hoping the Giants take it. So we're hoping for New York. Like, well, that's what you got, buddy. That's what you got. So anyway, John Shipley did a piece over
didn't
there.
Tell his kid to get ready for that interview then?
Right? You would think we're hoping for New York. We're just gonna cross our fingers. Here's our plan. We're gonna go in there. We're gonna act aloof and upset that they challenge us on the homework assignment they gave us to study our offense, and then we're gonna be surprised when they go for Jackson Dart.
Legendary.
All right, it is legendary, and hashtag you got to add. Shipley did a piece, Tony, taking a look at the consensus board. Okay, I guess there's a consensus draft board every year. I don't know how you find it. Okay, because this year Arif Hassan put it out. The consensus big board is live. 300 players ranked using data from 112 draft analysts. Well, did all 112 grade hundreds of right? Like, I get it if you're ranking the top 50 or you're ranking the top 30. I can understand a consensus board at the top, but regardless, this is an effort to bring together because there are outliers, right? Mel Kiper had Shedeur Sanders number 1 quarterback, but consensus-wise, it was clearly Cam Ward, right? So, on the consensus board, how did James Gladstone do compared to Trent Baalke's years, right? And based on where the guy was ranked, were you getting a bargain on players or not? And so he went through all the different drafts here, and you go back to Baalke's first draft, Trevor Lawrence is consensus number 1 player, so you don't get any value on that. You took him 1, he was 1. It's an even push.
Yeah.
For instance, ETN on the consensus board was 29th. Jags took him 25th. No big deal, right? It's 4 spots. You don't have the 29th pick, so you do what you have to do. But then you go through. Tyson Campbell, 24 picks ahead of consensus. Walker Little, 40 picks. Luke Farrell, 140 picks ahead of consensus. The only 2 actual positive values in that 2021 draft were Jay Tufele and Jordan Smith. Maybe the consensus board needs more new input.
Yeah.
Because
what's Tufele been doing the last couple of years?
He went to Cincy, right? And I don't know. I haven't noticed him making a mark, right? I've seen him play, but not much, I don't believe, for them. 2022, Trayvon Walker was the consensus player number 8. That even seems a little high to me. I'm surprised he was that high. But the Jags took him 1, so they had a negative value. Devin Lloyd, by the way, though, was consensus value 16. And he went 27th. So it says you got a much better value on Devin Lloyd. Well, who'd you rather have? Trayvon at 1 or Devin Lloyd at any point in the first round?
That's not close.
Right?
Yeah.
Fortner was a bad value. Snoop Connor was 134 picks ahead of value. It's funny, Lloyd and Muma were the 2 values on the board in 2022 that Baalke picked. In 23, man, you got to get to Antonio Johnson before they picked a value. And there was something, I remember Coach Campo talking about this. There had to be something going on with Antonio Johnson, that he was ranked so highly in so many of these spots. He was ranked 64th overall. Last pick of round 2.
Yeah.
And we took him at pick 160. Parker Washington, a good value. But look at some of these guys. Eric Hallett should not have been drafted, right? He was consensus player 441. 233 picks ahead of consensus. Cooper Hodges, 227. 388. Raymond Vahasik. Remember him?
I do.
Yeah.
Vaguely.
Briefly.
I remember the name.
And then last year, Brian Thomas was a little bit of a value, and Miles Cole was a value. But for the most part, Baalke was reaching all over the damn place. So how did Gladstone do in comparison? Travis Hunter, number 1 player. They got him at 2. A little bit of a value. Wyatt Milam, 78th ranked player, got him at 89. Little value there. Monheim and LaQuint Allen, both good values. Biggest reach was Jalen McLeod, 107 picks above consensus. Ransall went 52. And that's going to be the interesting one to watch to me, because that was the one where I would have done something different, Tone. But they really like him. I mean, I think there are a lot of people that think he might be your starting free safety right out of the gates.
Yeah.
He'll have to earn it, obviously.
Well, that's the interesting part of that. It's Caleb Ransall, that entire evaluation, his playing career has been at corner.
Correct.
Right? And then he plays for a couple days at safety, and the Jags have talked about that specifically, right? The couple days of the Senior Bowl, he looked comfortable doing it. That's probably where we're going to start him. You know, he may be able to do a bunch of different things for us, but that's the first idea we have is that he's going to be playing safety for us, at least to start here in Jacksonville. So his evaluation is a little bit hard to figure out. Exactly, but I'm not surprised if the Jags saw that kind of thing, especially the versatility we're talking about there, that they would be willing to reach compared to whatever the consensus was for that kind of player.
Look, consensus can be wrong, obviously.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, clearly, consensus can be wrong. There are plenty of guys graded as first-rounders that bust.
But, you know, you look at these things and you talk about what Balky did or didn't do, right, in his time. And I think there are ranges where you're comfortable with at different times in the draft. Right? Like, once you get into day 3, especially late in day 3, when you're taking guys that this is our evaluation of the guy, you're so committed to your own evaluation on those guys that I'm comfortable with there being a pretty broad range, right? Your pick compared to the consensus, I'm comfortable with that later in the draft. Earlier in the draft, that's when I'm like, why?
Yeah, why are we
see
taking this guy a round and a half earlier than everyone else says he's projected?
And I think the Ransall thing, you're right. I think that is the one that I have my eyes on as much as anything coming out of this draft is they see something that he hasn't done before that they feel very comfortable putting him in that position to do.
Tony Pauline backed it up, right?
Yeah.
Like, thinks that, yes, if you turn him around and he can put his eyes on the offense, he's going to be a playmaker on the ball. Yet to be proven.
Right. That's the one that I'd show it. You know, that kind of thing. Their eval is their eval of the guy, and they're willing to take that kind of chance. I get, like, you look at it, like, minus 107 for Jalen McLeod. That doesn't bother me all that much, right? Like, that doesn't bother me all that much that deep into the draft. We have this evaluation of the guy. That is not all that big a deal to me, but the 52 there, I mean, that's a round and a half.
Yeah.
Essentially a value you're talking about right there in the third round.
Yeah, no doubt.
They're saying the eval is basically early 5th round is what they're saying about him?
Yes.
Something in there?
Right at the beginning of round 5. Or maybe right at the end of round 4 with all the compensatory picks. But
so you were willing to go a round and a half or so early on him, and that's
and
their prerogative.
you may be right.
Yeah.
You know, you may be crazy. But the final analysis, Gladstone's biggest reach against the board, okay, would be McLeod. Yep. 107 picks. But it would not have been in the top 8 of Trent Baalke's biggest reaches and would not have been the biggest reach in any of Baalke's 4 classes. So overall, yeah, you're probably always going to find a few outliers, especially you get to the 6th and 7th round.
I think you look at all this in that article today, and what I see is Gladstone's much more committed to whatever those things are, right? Like, or at least his way of thinking is much more in line with the general consensus, right, across the league.
Because I think the general consensus leans more on production than potential.
Right.
Because it's easier to see.
Yes.
And we know that's the direction that this organization is trying to move in.
Absolutely.
Right? Give us guys who can come in and play, not just, height, weight, speed. That's interesting.
Yeah. And we'll do this again next year, and we'll look at another consensus ranking, and we'll see if it matches as well as it seems to, right, in this consensus ranking compared to what Gladstone did or didn't next year. Who knows exactly what it's going to look like. But my guess is that it's going to be similar. Not exactly the same, but it'll be similar next year when they do it.
Yeah, by the way, that doesn't mean Caleb Ransall can't be a fantastic pick. If he comes in, he starts right away, and he plays really well, nobody's going to care if you took him ahead of consensus. You're going to say the consensus was wrong.
And it'll be more volatile because they don't have a first-round pick.
Yes.
Right? So that's the ones where that's where the consensus, I think, impacts your opinion of players more than anywhere else, because that's what everyone talks about for 4 months. Is the first round and what's around you and what teams will be doing around you. You kind of get an idea of where these players are, right? In the league's mind, at least to some degree in the first round. Well, the Jags aren't going to be in that conversation next year.
All right, we're in the conversation with Chad Ryder from NFL.com. Coming up next, he's going to give you his draft breakdown analysis of all the Jaguars selections in the 2025 NFL draft. He liked it overall, but let's get into some specifics. Straight ahead, you're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Above Gotham looms its greatest hero. We're not a superhero. We're the Superstation.
Who are you? Oh, sorry.
1010XL.
That signal is not a beeper.
92.5 FM.
I just like the sound of it.
Jaguars Today.
For the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios at 1010XL.
When you need a mechanic you can trust, call Sam, Harry, or Joe at AA Automotive on Richard Street. From oil changes to complex engine repairs, AA Automotive promises expert service and honest pricing from a local family biz. AA Automotive on Richard Street.
Denny Thompson here. If you haven't heard, Tyson Sound & Security has a house built right inside their showroom, showcasing complete home automation and security systems. You have to see it to believe it. This setup can recognize intruders who approach your door and alerts them to leave if there's a break-in. Keep your family safe with the most state-of-the-art technology. Tyson Sound & Security, your security, home theater, and home automation experts. New showroom at 3555 U.S. Highway 17 in Fleming Island.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. By now, everyone has heard about saving money on their energy bills. There are all sorts of things you can do to cut energy costs, but most people don't think about their windows.
But Window World knows that the biggest energy loss in almost every home is the windows. There is more energy loss from old builder-grade windows than just about anything else in your home.
You can upgrade your heating and air, your appliances. That's good too. But before you do all that, upgrade your windows to Window World's energy-efficient windows.
Window World's windows are easy to clean, energy efficient, and have the best guarantee in the business.
Window World's slogan is simply the best for less, and we mean it. You get great American-made windows, and you get to keep more of your money when you buy from Window World. Need any more reasons to buy your windows from Window World? Call them today and set up your free in-home estimate, or go online to windowworldneflorida.com.
Window World, simply the best for less.
Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
Jaguars Today Monday is built by Dream Finders Homes.
Official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
As a contractor, finding reliable subcontractors is key to project success. Prosser here. Guys, that's where Lloyd's Heating and Air shines. Not just your mechanical HVAC experts, but your partner, understanding every facet of construction to keep your project on track. Lloyd's will spot issues early before they cause delays. If you're a contractor with a need for reliability, visit LloydsHeatingandAir.com. Lloyd's Heating and Air, keeping you comfortable in every season.
Checkmate Coatings. Your floor's missing piece. Premium flooring. Take our advice. Home business, affordable price. Driveways, pool decks, garage doors, beautiful patios, and more to explore. Checkmate Coatings. Your floor's missing piece.
Mother's Day is coming. Don't run out of time. Small Cakes has sweets she'll love from you and the kids. Mention 1010XL to get 10% off now until Wednesday. Cupcakes to brownies to ice cream. Customize it so it's unique to mom. SmallCakesJacks.com.
Weekends were made for sports, and I'll tell you my take on this weekend's most interesting option. 1010XL's Media Mogul Hicken here. Watch for Musing with the Media Mogul on YouTube and Facebook. Made possible by Tucker Equipment Rentals in Neptune Beach.
Are your monthly bills keeping you up at night, wondering how you got so behind? Hey, I'm Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. I get it. Life is expensive now. Insurance, groceries, cars. And then there's the credit card debt with those obscene interest rates. It's time to regain your financial freedom. And that's what we offer at Loan Pronto, using the power of the equity in your home. We have multiple ways to get you the cash you need, and most clients close in 2 weeks or less, and many don't even require an appraisal. And listen, rates have been plummeting recently. We just locked a homeowner in with an APR in the low fives, saving her over $1,000 per month, and put $10,000 in her pocket. Life-changing money. Whether you're drowning in debt, have a nosebleed rate you got last year, need home improvements, or simply need cash in your pocket, we can help you accomplish this goal in record time. Call us today and get started with no hard credit pull, just a conversation. LoanPronto.com, 904-999-1508. LoanPronto.com. That's LoanPronto.com.
Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Hacker here with an opportunity. Drop 40 pounds by the 4th. You can do it. I dropped my first 40 in 6 weeks. Hayes did it, Dempsey, Ballou, and thousands of others have done it. 40 by the 4th. With Awaken180weightloss.com.
Spring has sprung, and so have the bugs. It's Hayes Carline and my friends at Kingfish Pest Control offer an exclusive $99 spring special. That's right, your initial pest control service is just $99. And if you call today, they'll include a free one-time mosquito treatment. Kingfish Pest Control is family-owned, 5-star rated with no binding contracts and 100% satisfaction guarantee. Call them now to book your service. Only at Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball is home this week at the newly renovated Five-Star Ballpark. The Jumbo Shrimp take on the AAA New York Mets. Tomorrow is tacos and tequila, followed by a day game on Wednesday. Then it's Coors Light Thirsty Thursday and fireworks Friday and Saturday. Baseball all weekend. Tickets start at just $5. JackShrimp.com for tickets. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, affordable, family fun.
When you hear Florida Gators baseball on 1010XL, it's brought to you by Renewal by Andersen, the official window and door replacement partner of the Florida Gators, and Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. 1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece. Now, more Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, still doing some post-mortem on the 2025 NFL Draft. And one of the guys who helped break it down for us leading into the draft many a time this offseason and for several years now, Chad Ryder from NFL.com, one of their lead draft analysts over there, joins us now to recap what the Jacksonville Jaguars got accomplished. Chad, hope you had a little bit of downtime after the draft. How you feeling right now?
I'm pretty good. I'm actually started my preparation for 2026. I'm going through some guys right now and trying to get the information together. So had a couple of days off, and now I'm back at it.
Basically a year-round deal, it sounds like, for you, right?
Yeah, I try to gather as much information on players before the start of the fall season, just to be familiar with everybody and try to track who is where nowadays, and see who I should be watching come fall.
Obviously, the Jags trade up to get Travis Hunter. Where did you rank him, or how did you feel about him prior to his final season at Colorado when he won the Blitnikoff Award?
Well, I think it's been clear since he was in high school that he's a special player. I think he took it. I would say he took it to the next level, but I think people who really watched him, going into the year knew, he was gonna, be one of the best players in the country. But I think, again, as all people and players do, they grow as they mature, and he, once again took it to yet another level in his final year, and I expect him to keep getting better, as scary as that might sound.
I know Travis Hunter specifically is a guy that I'm sure you've been asked a couple hundred times now during the draft process. Is he a wide receiver or is he a corner? Well, Jacksonville is the only market that's really going to get the opportunity to answer that question. So, because it's more important here than it's been at any other time you've been asked to this point, is he a wide receiver? Is he a corner? How effective do you think he can be in the league doing both?
He will do both. He'll be very effective at both. I think people, look, any guy coming into the NFL is just going to be a learning curve. And like every other corner who has ever played in the NFL, he will get beat for touchdowns. It's just going to happen. But he's also going to make a lot of plays on the ball. And if quarterbacks aren't careful, he will attack the football and he will wrestle it away from his receiver as well, because he's a tough player. And if he can stay at 180, 185, and continue to build strength along with the speed and the competitive nature and his intelligence, that's a lot. And I would get the ball. He may not start the year making a ton of plays at receiver, but as the year goes on and he gets more comfortable with the plays that they give to him, depending on how they use him, I think you'll see him making more and more plays. So I think he's going to be a playmaker on both sides of the ball.
What do you make of what they gave up to get him?
I think it's reasonable considering he's going to play both sides of the ball. And I don't think it was, like a Robert Griffith III type of haul that the Browns got from him. And I tell you what, the Browns better make better choices than they did when they got a haul for Julio Jones back in the day, too. But they were, not lucky, but they were able to get a good guy in Mason Graham, at 5. But I think, Hunter's sort of another level. I was a little surprised anybody would be willing to give him up.
So the Jags, as part of the deal to go up to get Hunter, they gave away the second-round pick this year, but so they didn't pick until the 3rd round. The next guy off the board for them was cornerback Caleb Ransaw. They're talking like he's going to play safety. How well do you think he can make that adjustment to that position in the league?
Yeah, I think you saw him at the Senior Bowl. He was listed as a safety. I think his physical nature is going to allow him. And look, I would play him at nickel, so I think he could play a few different spots. And like in the 3rd, 4th round, I think that was probably where he was going to go. His combine workout was outstanding and showed in top being a physical competitive player. He was a great athlete. So that's where I'm, not surprised they took him where he took him. I think he can play multiple spots.
All right. Wyatt Milam is a guy that, throughout the process, we were looking at him potentially at times in the 2nd round. Obviously, he slid a little bit later. Jags initially traded back. They were interested in a couple of players at 70 that came off the board in the 10 picks before them, moved back to 102, moved back up with the opportunity to get Milam, who will be moving inside to guard. What did you think about the value at pick 89?
Yeah, I thought, let's see, in my first mock draft, 3rd 3-rounder, I had him going number 80 to Indianapolis. So I've had him kind of in that area most of the time, and so I thought it was good value. I think he's going to be a tough guard. I think he likes to move people. He doesn't get beat a lot, which sounds like not very scouty thing to say, but I think it's the fact that you don't get beat is more than your technique. It's more than your athleticism. It's your basic want to and your competitive desire. And so I think that's something very important to look at a guy like that he's willing to do whatever it takes to keep his guys upright.
In a deep running back class this year in the draft, the Jags dipped into it twice. And the first time they did was there in the 4th round with Bashal Tutin out of Virginia Tech. Where was he on your prospect rankings at running back? And do you like the fit and the timing of them taking him there in the 4th round?
Yeah, I thought he was a pretty solid 4th round guy. Just again, you saw how explosive he was in the field, but then you put up the numbers in a combine workout where you're running in the 4.3, then you're going to end up in the 4th round because he is an explosive guy. I think he's going to give you a receiver out of the backfield too, which is really nice. And I think something not to overlook. It's really nice. I think at that position you have so many guys that get injured and whatnot. You need the depth. Let's see, I had him going middle of the 4th round or like 119. So, good value there.
Yeah, and they had a chance, Chad, to take Cam Scatteraboo, who went with the next pick, or Dylan Sampson, who went later in the round. They obviously, knew that, and they preferred Tutin. A lot of comparisons have been made between Tutin and Bucky Irving. Do you see that aspect? Do you see Bucky Irving reflected in Tutin's game?
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable way to go. And Scatteraboo, you got to want a particular type of runner if you want Scatteraboo. And I think they chose a little more speed, pure speed. I think a guy like Scatteraboo had some other questions about him too in terms of stamina and stuff like that. And I think they chose the guy that you can give the ball either as a receiver or runner, 20 times a game if you have to, and chose. And Sampson, there's a few off-field questions about him too, so I'm not surprised. Again, he's more of a power back, so I could see why the Jaguars would want to go this direction instead of those two.
Where do you think Jack Kaiser ultimately lands as a running back in the league? Weak, strong, middle? Where does he go?
To me, I think he's going to have to play strong side. I thought it was a little early to take him in the 4th, to be honest with you, but look, on day 3, if you like a guy because of off-field, because of production rather than pure athleticism, that's what you do on day 3. So I think you get a lot of positives and tangibles. And he's, again, a guy who's going to attack the ball. There's some issue in coverage. I think he's going to be better if he plays Sam. He's going to be better in the run than in coverage, but got a little exposed at Senior Bowl. But again, he's just a solid football player. And on day 3, that's really what you're hoping for. Special teams and a guy who's going to play, a long time for you in whatever role you give him.
So special teams has been a lot of what people have focused on with Kaiser and Rayun Lane out of Navy as well. Are either of these guys eventually, in your opinion, long-term starters? I understand circumstances can give guys an opportunity, but do you feel like their greatest contributions will be coming on special teams, or can they do more than that?
Kaiser can become more than that. And again, it's just a matter of how he handles himself in coverage to see if he's a 2-down linebacker, if he can stay on the field, more often. But I think he's got a chance to make it in situations where teams are really running the ball. And frankly, as we've seen the league kind of going to leaning on running backs a little bit more because of wider boxes and things like that, maybe his role becomes even a little larger if teams continue to try to take advantage of smaller linebackers and fewer guys in the box.
I know, talking to different people throughout this process, including you, Chad, and the rankings at center, it always felt like it was very thin. Where did Jonah Monheim ultimately rank among centers? I know he's got the flexibility to play all over the place, potentially on the line, but just as a straight center, where did he rank among that group going into the draft for you?
I had him going, late 6, early 7. So he, just generally in the same area in the 5th, 6th, 7th range. He's not, because he's played some tackle and guard and center, the versatility is very nice, as you mentioned. I wouldn't say, I'll be interested to see how he handles pure power rush. If he can anchor against that, I think he's a guy who probably turned out to be a pretty good 7th-round pick for them. That's just the only issue in terms of, the lower body strength to handle some of the bigger bull rushes he finds. But again, 7th round, I think that's a pretty good find.
All right. We were looking at 7th round, maybe adding a little late pass rush here, but they ended up signing the Emmanuel Ogbah the day after the draft concluded. Didn't want to pass on LaKint Allen out of Syracuse. 64 receptions, 16 touchdowns. Could he be a diamond in the rough with the Jaguars' final pick?
Possibly. I think he's I kind of reminded me of Rachaad White a little bit when he came out, Arizona State, in terms of kind of a more of a strider in the open field, kind of opposite of Tootin in that respect in terms of, height and things like that. But I think, again, if they're looking for a couple of guys that can make a little more hay in the passing game, as well as getting some, touches as a runner, I think they added a guy that could have, should have been drafted, and at that late in the draft, it's always interesting to see which teams decide to take 2 running backs, given the positional value there, or you wait until after the draft to do it. And they decided Allen's value was just a little too strong to wait and see if they could get him as an undrafted free agent.
Where do you think the Jaguars will try to play Jalen McLeod in the 4-3 defense they run?
I think you can play him on the line. It doesn't, height is, it can be tricky with a down lineman, but I think most guys, if you're using him especially as a designated pass rusher, sometimes the guys can use their lack of height as an advantage in terms of leverage and getting under a guy's shoulder to bend. And so I think he's got some value there. If they stand him up, great. I don't think he's the best mover at all times in terms of, coverage, but he's okay in limited, spots there. But I think I'd play him on the line, in certain passing situations and let him do his thing attacking the quarterback.
All right, so overall, Chad, A-, not a bad grade for the Jacksonville Jaguars through your eyes. So let's take Travis Hunter out of it. Which pick do you think was the best for the Jags out of the remaining selections, and which one has you questioning it the most?
Well, I think Milam was a really good pick for what they needed and depth, and he's going to be a starter at some point soon. So I really like that pick the most. The least interesting, the pick that I didn't like, I guess Kaiser, in terms of positional value. I think you could have waited a little bit longer to get him, but again, he's a football player. It's day 3. I'm not going to rip him too much.
Yeah, but they didn't have a pick. Now they could have moved around or tried to, and maybe they did.
Yeah,
that was 107. Their next pick was 194. So if you liked him at 130 and you're stuck there, you know what I mean? So some of that plays into it too.
And I mean, again, the intangibles probably took them a little higher than maybe some other guys that will fill a similar role for teams that were picked in the 6th and 7th round.
Yeah, they signed 20 undrafted free agents. I'm not going to ask you about all of them, but one of the ones that they signed that's gotten a lot of buzz is Jabbar Muhammad, the corner out of Oregon. What did you see when you evaluated him?
Well, it's tough when a guy doesn't have size or speed and you try to put him on a corner. But you got to love his competitiveness, and that's really what I look for in corners almost more than anything in terms of trying to make it. Because if you don't play through the whistle, if you don't fight through the catch point, you're going to struggle. And actually, I went through some of the top undrafted groups, and the Jaguars were one that I pulled out because of Seth Hennigan, Sal Wormley, B.J. Green, Danico Slaughter, Patrick Herbert, and I haven't gone back to see if all these guys actually signed. There's a lot of rumors with this stuff when it first comes out, but they had a few guys that I thought, could contribute.
We'll find out, Chad, and we appreciate all your contributions, certainly throughout draft season for us. Enjoyed having you on, reading your coverage, all the 4- and 7-round mock drafts that you cranked out there. I think you do as many 7-round mocks as anybody, which we absolutely love. Got to be more of a challenge for us next year without a first-round pick, but we appreciate everything you always do for us during draft season, man. Enjoy the grind, getting ready for 2026, I guess. But until then, we'll catch up with you hopefully when the Jags are picking last in round 2.
Yeah, well, you know what, guys, you can say that the cornerback they got this year in Travis Hunter is the first-round pick this year, and the wide receiver that you get in Travis Hunter is the first-round pick for next year.
I like that, and we get him a year early, so we get to use him for an extra season as well. All right, Chad _Ryder is where you'll find him on social media, RUETER. Chad, we appreciate it, buddy. Did I just do that wrong? It's REU, all right? I think I just did that.
REU.
REU. I just did it backwards, but at least I caught myself right there. You don't want people going to the wrong Twitter handle. All right, I'm going to create a fake Chad Ryder account later on today. Chad, all the best, buddy, and thanks so much again.
Thanks, guys.
All right, pal. There he goes. Chad Ryder, NFL.com. Get his name spelled Ryder. Dempsey, REUTER. All right, we'll step aside, come back, and kind of reflect on what Chad had to say as we get into hour 2. We're looking for your projections, not just statistically, but just what you project Brenton Strange, what kind of impact he'll have on this Jaguar offense in his first year under Liam Cohen. It's your Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Food. Start the week off right by starting your day off right. It's Monday morning, maybe you skip breakfast. Don't do that. You know what? Dandy's got lunch waiting for you. They got brunch waiting for you. They got dinner. They got meals waiting for you any time of day. All you have to do as you're driving around Duval is pull into an area gate station and head to the fresh case. Look for the Dandy label, the Anytime Deli label. It's all the same company, all the same family, created by the Thompson family, Jacksonville locals nearly 70 years ago. And it continues to be a Jacksonville-based enterprise. And all they do is continue to pump out quality. The highest quality ingredients, locally sourced as often as possible, give you fantastic variety on all your food options for on the go, and they keep prices in check. It's always fresh, always delicious with Dandy. Head into a gate station and marvel at the many selections you have, usually over 30 different kind of Dandy varieties. I love that tuna salad, but do what I do, folks. Whatever you like, go out and make yours a Dandy, and do it today.
Jaguars
Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. The Florida Gators and Jacksonville Jaguars. Living under the same radio roof. 1010XL. flagship station of the Gators and Jaguars.
When you're experiencing sudden, unexpected dental pain, the last thing you want to hear is that your dentist can't see you until next week. That's why I'm so glad I found Harbor Dental Care. Whenever I call, they always find a way to see me within 24 hours, and they can usually fix whatever's wrong the same day. Plus, they have locations throughout Jacksonville, so no matter what side of town I'm on, I can always count on the same great care. If you want to find a dentist who believes in treating people right, learn more at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
Your yard starting to look a little like a jungle? Well, it might be time for a little TLC. Or how about RTC, Russell Tree Care? At Russell Tree Care, they give your trees the perfect haircut. Whether it's trimming or removing, they'll make sure your yard looks its best, all while keeping safety as a top priority. Call Russell Tree Care today and let them take care of your trees. Russell Tree Care, 844-4Mr. Wood. That's 844-467-9663. Or visit RussellTreeCareLLC.com today. Your trees will thank you.
Duck Duck Rooter is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When you need help with any plumbing, septic, or AC issue, just give us a call and relax. We'll send one of our first-round draft picks to tackle your problems today. DuckDuckRooter.com. That's DuckDuckRooter.com.
Dreamfinders Homes Monday on Jaguars Today. The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. With the weather starting to turn for the better, look ahead. Get that backyard ready for spring with a new screened-in enclosure. Maximize the space you have and make it great with Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. They truly are best in the business. If you have the space and the idea, give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway. Tell them Prosser sent you. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Keep your ride summer road trip ready with parts, tools, and accessories from Summit Racing. We have what you need for pre-trip maintenance, plus essentials like emergency roadside kits, tire inflators, jumper cables, boost jump starters, tool sets, and a whole lot more. So hit the highways or take the roads less traveled with confidence. Shop SummitRacing.com. Use promo code RADIO for $10 off an order of $100 or more. Exclusions apply. Offer ends May 25th, 2025. SummitRacing.com. Let's build it together.
It's Work Zone Awareness Week, Florida. Every year, lives are lost in work zones because of speeding and distractions. When you see orange cones, remember, slow down, follow the signs, and stay focused. Workers are counting on you to get home safely, and so are their families. Let's work together to prevent crashes and save lives. A safety reminder from the Florida Department of Transportation. Slow your roll. Safety's the goal.
Meet our newest players. 1010XL Draft Profiles are brought to you by Wicca Candle Bar.
If speed was a need in Jacksonville, they revved up their engines when selecting Bashal Tootin in day 3 of the draft from Virginia Tech. Tootin ran a 4.340 at the combine, which would be marked as the fastest amongst the class. Many awe at his explosiveness despite his frame, as well as his potential to become a starting caliber running back with 3-down value.
Prosser here. It's a great time to sell your home, and I got just the people to sell it for you. Spring selling season is here. Rates are down. Activity's up. Now's the best time in years to sell your home. Some homes are sitting on the market, though. Hiring an expert who can maximize your equity and minimize your hassle, that's the key. And I've been telling you who those experts are. Are you listening? I recommend Chad and Sandy Newman. Go to chadandsandy.com, the local real estate experts you can trust with the sale of your home. No required costly repairs. Pick your move date. There are no long-term contracts, and you can cancel at any time. So whatever problems you think you have, I've got you this promise. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. There you go. Simple as that. Christopher on Anastasia Island. My home was too big for my needs. I wanted someplace smaller and easier to manage. I got multiple offers and sold in 3 days with Chad and Sandy. You can too at chadandsandy.com or 904-414-6200.
Mother's Day is coming, so come to Jacksonville Flower Market and pick the perfect bouquet for the special mom in your life. They even customize the bouquet so it's exactly what she wants. Mention 1010XL and get 15% off. Jacksonville Flower Market off Beach and Southside. This is Molly McDonald with your 1010XL local sports update brought to you by Awaken 180. The Jags' newest addition to the Wall of Duval came in the form of a 6'6", 300-plus pound tackle from West Virginia. Wyatt Milam was drafted by the Jags with the 89th overall pick in the 3rd round. Milam's previous head coach at West Virginia, Neil Brown, who now serves as a special assistant to the head coach at Texas, gave his insight on the type of player and person Milam is.
He's relatively young. He didn't redshirt like a lot of offensive linemen do for us, Coach. I think from a physical development, a lot of these guys that go into the league older, physically are maybe as mature from a weight and from a strength standpoint as they're going to be. I think he's got more growth in him. I think he's going to get stronger, significantly stronger, and there's no question he's going to be able to go inside.
Neil Brown with the XL Primetime crew. It's 81 degrees at 11 o'clock time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, hour 2 here of Jaguars Today. Just to recap what Chad Ryder thought about some of these guys. Gave the Jags an A- on day 1, day 2, and a B on day 3 overall. But, I get the feeling, Dylan, just listening to what he had to say compared to last year. I feel like outside of the Travis Hunter pick, I think he kind of liked last year's draft a little bit more.
Wyatt Milam, he loved the value there.
He did like Milam, absolutely.
Tootin,
But question about Ransaw and obviously Kaiser. I mean, look, we all have questions about everybody. They're doing this in every NFL city and have been for the last week as far as where these guys are actually going to end up. It's all speculation at this point. The question is, do you trust the ecosystem? Well, we have no choice but to trust it. What else do we have, right? It's not like they failed us at any point. They didn't make every move that I would have liked. They, I'm sure, didn't make every move that anyone would have liked if you had a concerted interest in it and you kind of follow the process. Now, there are some people out there, hey, I don't care who they pick. Whoever they pick, I'm just going to root for them. And that's fine. And you're certainly welcome to do that. Today's Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day. What are your expectations for Jacksonville Jaguars tight end Brenton Strange in his first year in Liam Cohen's offense? We'll get to that coming up, Tone, a little bit later in the hour. But first, let's take a look around the rest of the NFL.
Now, gems around the NFL. Brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
Baltimore head coach John Harbaugh was asked about how the team would handle their kicker situation this year. Justin Tucker, a 7-time Pro Bowler, 8-time first or second-team All-Pro, who before this offseason might have been in the discussion of best kicker of all time, has been accused by 16 massage therapists of inappropriate behavior, including sexual misconduct this offseason, and the team drafted Tyler Loop in the 6th round 9 days ago. Harbaugh said, every decision we make has to be based on football. There's a lot of layers to that. You've got a rookie kicker, and here you took him in the 6th round, early in the 6th round. He's a talented guy, just from a football standpoint, salary cap, all the different things that you have to take into consideration. Whatever we decide to do over the next few weeks will be based on football. Wide receiver Hunter Renfrow, who was recently signed by Carolina after not playing anywhere last season, said last Thursday that he was being treated for ulcerative colitis last year. That caused his weight to drop from 185 to 150 pounds. And Atlanta offensive coordinator Zach Robinson told the Waterboys Show podcast that he is expecting tight end Kyle Pitts to take a big jump this year, which will be his second year in the Robinson's offense there in Atlanta. Pitts had a 1,000-yard season in his rookie year, but hasn't topped 667 in the last 3.
If you care about fantasy football, and you should, Kyle Pitts going like, I don't know, tight end 18 or something like that. You get him for a song right now. So if you believe that breakout is coming, get on it.
Physical talent's still there.
I think so, but we'll see. We've been waiting for it to all come together in the yardage and touchdown department for him. Justin Tucker, Tone, I don't know many people. I guess, his career's not done, but I think a lot of people would have called him the greatest kicker in NFL history already. If he never kicks again, forget the off-field stuff. He's number 1 all time in field goal percentage. By the way, Josh Lambo's number 6, which, it just goes to show you the fickle nature of the position, right? They couldn't get rid of him quick enough with the Chargers. Jags picked him up, and he couldn't miss for a few years. There are 6 of the top 7, and this kind of skews it, right? Because kicking, the position has, better technique, better coaching. It's gotten more refined, better training, that most of the guys that are the most accurate kickers in NFL history are guys that are very recent. In fact, 6 of the top 7 most accurate kickers of all time, including Justin Tucker, are active kickers right now. I'd give you in Denmark a lot if you could come up with the other 5. I don't think you can do it. Any guesses? And anybody stand out whatsoever? And then I'll give you the list.
Among active kickers?
Active kickers. Positions. Tucker's number 1. He's 89.1% in all time.
I know he's been among the best the last several years along with Tucker. I'd say Butker.
Butker's 2. All time. All-time accuracy.
I wouldn't have known that.
Eddie Pinheiro is 3rd all-time.
Wow. Shout out Gators.
Shout out, right? Chris Boswell is the 4th. Boswell kicks in
that nastiness up there.
Really tough stadium to kick in.
Especially that one end. Towards the open end, everything over 40 yards. For years, it was if you were trying to kick in Pittsburgh beyond 45 towards that one direction of the field, you might as well just go for it.
Daniel Carlson, Tony, of the Raiders is the 5th most accurate kicker ever.
I've never gotten that.
No way.
Then it's Lambeau. Then it's Kaimi Fairburn.
What about a Dallas kicker?
All time. You would think he'd be getting up there, right?
Right. That's what
I wonder if he's got enough kicks to qualify. What's his name?
Brandon Audrey?
Yes.
Aubrey.
He's got to. I don't know if he's got enough kicks to qualify because you would think for sure. But you know what? I wonder though, because let me see if I can find him here. There's no Aubrey on this list of, I don't know, this is going well over 100 kickers. This is going 179 kickers. So I'm guessing there's probably a minimum of how many, but biggest leg, I don't think there's any question Aubrey's got it right now. Not to say all these guys, the greats, the big leg kickers in today's game can't kick a 65-yarder. I think a bunch of them can. Aubrey kicking 3 in a game. When he lines up 60 plus, I'm just thinking he's going to make it. He's unbelievable, man, with that leg. But I don't see him anywhere on the.
What kind of number are we looking at there at the top?
In terms of what percentage?
Yeah.
What's Aubrey at?
Aubrey's at 95% going into the
then Aubrey would be the most accurate kicker, but he just does not have enough.
89.4. He had a down year last year, only made 85%.
But he's at 89.4, so that would put him ahead of Tucker by 0.3.
Okay.
But right there. So that's a good call on him, but I guess you probably have to have X amount of attempts. All right, let's do this.
Be the case, yeah.
We'll take a time out here. We will come back and let's discuss Brenton Strange and his impact on the Jaguars offense. It's your Chad and Sandy real estate question today. If you want to give us a statistical projection for him, that's fine. If you just want to talk about how you feel he's going to impact this offense in Liam Cohen's first year, welcome to take those submissions as well. Got a bunch of them coming in on social media, so we'll give you our thoughts on that when we return in a moment. Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark, I'm Mike Dempsey. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Superior products, exceptional service.
Ready? I'm... Fight for it! This is 1010XL. Fire! Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Call 904-500-COOL. Ideal conditions.
Want to support a locally and veteran-owned company? If you need a new AC, we should be your first and only call. Ideal Conditions keeps you cool. Just ask your AC. Call 904-500-COOL or visit idealconditionsjacks.com.
Call 904-500-COOL.
Honk if you see us. Call for service.
Ideal Conditions.
Idealconditionsjacks.com.
Is your backyard ready for the big leagues? Pickett here for Surfside Pools. Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, they have the home field advantage. Family owned and operated, offering weekly pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools make your backyard dreams a reality. Are you ready to float happy? Visit SurfsidePools.net or call 904-246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, your hometown MVP.
License number CPC 044080.
Guys, your lawn's the home field. Now you can champion your St. Augustine grass. TopDressing.com just hit Jacksonville with a game-changing patented process. Aerate and transform your turf into a fairway-worthy masterpiece. Less water, shorter cuts, and the envy of every neighbor. No one else delivers a perfect 10 lawn like this. Visit TopDressing.com and dominate your block with the same process that golf courses use. Top dress your lawn like the pros with TopDressing.com.
Jaguars Today.
You're settled into a Dreamfinders Homes Monday.
Homeowners, storms don't wait, so why should you? Protect your home and your wallet with Universal Roof and Contracting. Save 15% on roof replacements and repairs now through May 31st. Financing is available with payments as low as $115. Call 855-ROOF-HELP for your free inspection. Universal Roof and Contracting. Protecting your home, building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com.
Want a simple way to boost your company's image without a big renovation? A fresh paint job in your brand's colors can increase recognition up to 80%. At Performance Painting, we help companies stand out with clean, on-brand finishes that impress clients and energize employees. From color consultations to low-odor coatings that won't disrupt operations, we've got you covered. Visit performance-painting.com to schedule a friendly estimate. Performance Painting. Prepare, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting.
Hey, Hicken here, or just call me Dreamfinders Danny. For a limited time to ring in the new year, Dreamfinders Homes is offering an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now's your chance to lock down that rate and get in the game. You heard me right. It's 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershomes.com for more details.
Get to know the newest members of your home team with Draft Profiles.
Who is that guy?
Covered by River City Screens and Wicca Candle Bar.
He's our #1 draft pick.
Off-season rolls on with AA Automotive and 1010XL.
This is Greg Huntington, a.k.a. The Mangler. I'm on the winning team at Waste Management. If your business needs sustainable environmental services for waste removal and recycling collection, then you can count on the industry leader of WM to deliver results. Go to WM.com/Duval.
I'm Clayton Bromberg, the president of Underwoods. If you've ever wondered why some jewelry stores and department stores always have a sale going at 50 to 75% off, there's a good reason. Because most of the time, they're not real sales. The prices are marked up so they can sell the piece at a big discount and still make the profit they need. If you wanted to find a realistic sales event, the store wouldn't run a year-round sale, and the discounts would be a little more realistic. For example, Underwoods puts all of our diamond solitaire necklaces and ear studs on sale in May at 15% below the prices we sell at the rest of the year. So there's a genuine savings to the customer. We also take trade-ins. So it's the ideal time to buy for someone looking to grow their pendant or ear studs up to a larger size. Now at Underwoods, we don't run a lot of sales, but when we do, they're real and a good time to buy. So come see us at Underwoods, San Marco, Avondale, or the shops of Ponte Vedra.
Pizza to Tea here, and Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find the scratch kitchen that comes through in the clutch every day, from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar. Come on, somebody.
You've got a lot on your plate. The last thing you need is car trouble. At Maxie's Mechanics, we help you keep your cars, trucks, and SUVs running safely. Visit MaxieAutoRepair.com today for honest service, reliable repairs, and peace of mind for you and your family.
Hey, Hicken here. So much of what makes us a family takes place in our homes. That's where Zero Res comes in. I love Zero Res, and this month get Zero Resified from Jacksonville's #1 carpet and air duct cleaner with May Mayhem. A 3-room special starting at $149 plus the 4th room is free. You owe it to yourself and your family to breathe healthy, happy, and clean. Call Zero Res 28757 or go online at ZeroResJacksonville.com and say you want the Hicken special. Zero Res, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, we continue along here on this Monday. By the way, start the gears churning for tomorrow's Tuesday Top 5. What are your top 5 current remaining questions about the Jacksonville Jaguars? Are they going to play? That's one, right? But you can get as specific with individuals as you like, or big picture, what have you. What are we going to do? How are we going to accomplish this? Why do we expect to be better at this if we didn't do this? Whatever the case may be. That'll be tomorrow. Demetrius Harvey coming in studio on Wednesday. So that's what's coming up over the next couple of days. Today, the Chad and Sandy Real Estate question of the day asked you about expectations for Brenton Strange in the first year in a Liam Cohen offense. Why don't we discuss this, Dylan?
10-10 Take.
Now, Mike Dempsey's 10-10 Take is serviced by Ideal Conditions Heating and Air, your go-to local HVAC company, veteran owned and operated.
Let me ask you, Tony, is there more or less competition for targets in Jacksonville for Brenton Strange? I'm not talking about specifically at the tight end position. I'm just talking about generally overall this year compared to last year.
More competition this year compared to last year.
I'm asking you, is there, because you don't have Evan Ingram and Christian Kirk. Now, granted, they're only here for playing about half the year, each of them.
I think, in my mind, it's probably about the same. It's about equal in my head because they didn't feature BTJ until the end of the year. And they're obviously the plan is to feature BTJ this year in the pass game. They draft Travis Hunter. He's going to have some kind of role in it. I think as far as needing to get him the ball, like that kind of, I think it's about the same as it was at the end of last year for Brenton Strange, but there are other factors in it, I think, that, we'll get into as we answer the question.
Yeah, last year he had 53 targets. He started 10 games, right?
Yeah.
Played all of them last year. Of course, Evan Ingram, along the way last year, played in 9 games. Started every single one of them. So sometimes they both started in certain personnel packages, but clearly Evan Ingram in those 9 games, Tone, had 47 catches. Brenton Strange had 40 catches, and he played every game. So you think he's going to pick up some of Evan Ingram's
for sure
slack. But, again, Evan Ingram is playing in a system last year. Like you said, they didn't figure out that we need to force feed the ball to Brian Thomas Jr. early. Like, what in the world? Christian Kirk early in the season was around, although he wasn't getting a ton of work. I don't think you're just picking up all of Evan Ingram's work if you're Brenton Strange in the target share. I have a tough time, honestly, projecting like the yards after catch to me is a little bit hard, or the overall yards per reception. It's striking to me, though. Look at what Evan Ingram did in his time in Jacksonville. His first year, he had 10.5 yards a catch, right? Which is not bad. It's not fantastic. Next year, he caught 114 balls. It was down to 8.4, and last year it was 7.8.
Yeah.
Everything was dink and dunk and dink and dunk.
I have, the Strange discussion and question is one that I've been a little bit baffled by for his first 2 years here in the league, given what he can do. Right? Like, I know you have Evan Ingram on the team, and so he's going to get a bunch of the tight end snaps, that kind of. I'm surprised that in the first 2 years that they haven't found a way to use Brenton Strange more than they've used him. Like, he started the 10 games last year because Ingram was dealing with whatever he's dealing with, right? And every now and then they may start a game with 2 tight end sets, so he gets a start technically that day, that kind of thing. But I'm looking specifically, at the tight end that Liam Cohen was using last year in Cade Otton, right? And the way that he got used in that Tampa Bay offense, that this is a 4th-round pick from a couple years ago, right? And so, essentially, Brenton Strange is coming off basically Cade Otton's rookie season is the kind of numbers that Brenton Strange put up last year, right? In the offense.
That's fair.
Now, Cade Otton had his biggest year last year with 59 for 600 there in Tampa. And then I look at specifically usage, snap count specifically. Otton has been on the field for 97 and 92% of the offensive snaps for the Bucs the last 2 years. And that is the number that I look at with Strange going, I don't know why they didn't use him more. right? Because I do think he's an effective receiver. He's not a guy that you need to feature in the pass game, but he's effective as a receiver, and he is a fantastic blocker. Like, just a fantastic blocker, and he's gotten 32 and 56% of the snaps the last 2 years. I think Strange is going to get the odd numbers. I think it's going to be somewhere in the mid-90s on percentage of snaps that he gets this year, and whatever that means for the number of looks he's going to get in the pass game, it's going to be higher. The volume on it, I think it's going to be higher than it was last year, but I think he's going to be on the field for virtually every offensive snap this year.
I think that's where his impact comes in as a true two-way guy that doesn't tip your hand when he's on the football field, right? But I don't if you look at Otten's numbers last year, and you have to take out the 3-game stretch where they didn't have either of their top two playmakers.
Absolutely.
Sure, if Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter missed 3 games, I'd expect Brenton Strange to get a hell of a lot of targets.
No doubt.
Right? I mean, a ton of targets. Got to move the chains any way we can. Cade Otten had 31 of his 87 targets, 25 of his 59 catches in that 3-game stretch.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about a guy who was basically an afterthought in terms of getting the football.
Featured when he had to be featured.
Right. He played all the time, but his yardage totals by game 5, 0, 47, 52, 44, 15. This is with the exception of that 3-game stretch. 35, 30, 20, 70, and 24.
Yeah.
I think that's more in line with what we're going to see from Brenton Strange. You're not going to have let's say a 1,300-yard receiver in Brian Thomas Jr., maybe a guy pushing 1,000. It depends on how much Travis Hunter assimilates and is able to play both ways. Maybe, right? So then you think you're going to have a 850, 900-yard tight end on top of that? I don't think so. I think it's going to be I think maybe that 40 catches goes to maybe 50, something like that, and he probably stays around that 10.5-yard per catch range, something like 500 yards, 50
with the
catches.
chance for that to balloon if one of those guys gets hurt.
Right. Well, we're talking about just normal preseason
It's the
expectations.
NFL, yeah. Like it's one of those things where odds are one of your guys is going to be down for a game or two at some point. Right. One of your 2 guys that you expect to be featured in the past. At some point, odds are that they're going to miss some time. And I think there is the opportunity. Strange is a talented enough guy that he can take advantage of that if they want to feature him for those couple of weeks. So I'm with you. Like, I do think going in like expectations week to week, it's like 3. Like that's
3 for 30.
4.
Yeah.
That's kind of where it is in my head. And then there'll be the weeks where, well, they got to throw it to him more this week, and he has a 6 or 7 catch game, and it's like, yeah, he's a 90-yard guy. And we'll be doing the same thing that we've done every time he's been featured to any degree in his first 2 years.
Why don't they do that more?
Right. Like, every time he gets those opportunities, he's taken advantage of them here in these first couple of years. I think he's going to do that same kind of thing, but he's going to be on the field virtually all the time, which is not the way that he's been used so far.
Well, yeah, and I think some of that is defenses do take certain things away, and they offer up other things. Yeah. And if you are making it a point to get the ball to Brian Thomas 10 times a game, I mean, how often do you think? Absolutely you should. Then Travis Hunter should be the next weapon in the passing game that you're thinking about getting the ball in his hand. And I don't know if it's going to be that far behind, quite frankly, and because there are different ways to do it. Obviously, your running game, that's where I think Brenton Strange makes his biggest impact on this team. And I don't think I'm alone in this by any stretch.
No, I think that's why they've done the plan the way they've done it.
Several people have replied today, statistically, this is hard. Impact-wise, it's not hard to see him having a huge impact on this football team. And being that guy that is the guy that wants to finish every block with you lying on your back and him grinding your helmet into the ground.
Like, that's the way you play. He loves it.
Right, and I think they're going to love having that as well. And for a team that wants to protect Trevor Lawrence, I think that's going to be their primary way of doing it, is run the football. Obviously, block better when he drops back, but run the football and get a lot of those balls out of his hands quickly into the hands of your playmakers and let them make plays after the catch. Travis Hunter can do it. Brian Thomas Jr. can do it. We'll see what other ones can do it. So I don't know how many 7-step drops we're going to see at Trevor Lawrence, at least early in the season, until that pass protection proves that it can hold up. And I'm totally fine with that.
Me too.
Let's get the ball out. Let's get him some positives. It's like a shooter in basketball, man. You got to see that first layup go through the net sometimes. Just having that first couple of balls hit your receiver tight end in the hands and have him make a positive play, pick up a couple of first downs, ease the burden of being backed up.
Yeah, and I think, talking about it being that 3-4 catch a game kind of thing for Strange, we've already heard Cohen talk about trying to exactly that mentality of get everyone a layup, right? Like he's already talked about that kind of thing. It's like we're not just the whole first quarter isn't going to be 18 passes to X. Like even if we could, and BTJ would be a pretty effective guy to do it that way.
If
but
they don't cover him,
they at least have it in their mind that we're going to try to spread it around, get everybody actively involved on a week-to-week basis. I think they may have that kind of idea, and you do, and you at least keep the defense guessing, and then you say, well, now you're going to have to deal with this the rest of the game. We figured out what we wanted to do, where our advantage was going to be, and that's where we're going. We're going to exploit that advantage. That's what I see in Cohen, right? We figure out what the advantage is, and we exploit it, right? And if that for a day is Strange, I wouldn't be surprised if it is.
Sure.
Like that kind of, and I think he's gifted enough athletically to give you that kind of thing. I think he is that kind of thing, but I don't expect it to happen, but maybe that once or twice a year.
Right.
It's not a week-to-week thing.
If Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter are healthy, I don't know if it happens at all, quite frankly.
It may not.
I think they're good. I think Brian Thomas Jr. is good enough. You can double team him all you like, and he's still got the advantage. This is a passing league.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, nobody's saying Jamar Chase doesn't have an advantage. He's not Jamar Chase yet, but he's our version of it. It's what we've got, right? And certainly worthy of being considered an NFL number one, and I think Travis Hunter will quickly get up to that level as well, or otherwise you shouldn't have been trading up to get him. We didn't draft him to be a pretty good receiver and a pretty good corner.
No, and I think, someone on the text line just asked, is it possible that Cohen wanted to use the tight end more in Tampa but wasn't able to until the wide receivers got hurt? Like, I don't know what the answer to that kind of question is, and it's impossible for anyone to know.
If he wanted to, why didn't he then?
Right. That is the kind of thing. I think the answer to that question is they let go of Evan Ingram and didn't replace him with anything. Like that closely
not
approximates
in the pass-catching component.
That approximates Evan Ingram. So that's not important to him. Like if that was important to him, Ingram would be here for another year. But they said that's not important to us. They're at least willing to feature Brenton Strange going into the year as more the K. Dotton type, right? He's going to be on the field for 95, 97% of our snaps because he doesn't tell anything about what we're doing, run, pass, as far as play calling things. He gives us all the options that we want in the game, which I think that's what he prioritizes at the tight end position. The flexibility that he tells nothing. Him being on the field tells you nothing about we're running on this play, right? We line him up on the end of the line of scrimmage every snap, deal with it.
Yeah.
That's how they look at the tight end position. I think Strange can take advantage of those things in a very similar way to what K. Dotton has his first 3 seasons in the league.
If they had their way, do you think De'Ami Brown would be more productive in the passing game than Brenton Strange?
Yardage for sure. I'm not receptions, no, but yardage for sure.
It's hard to know how many targets he's going to get and just exactly, how often are we running 3 wide? How often are we running 2 tight ends?
Yeah. Like it's talking it through. Strange is, I expected to be 3 for 40. It's kind of where I expect it to be on a week-to-week basis for him, essentially. For De'Ami Brown, I would expect it to be 2 for 45. Kind of, he's not going to do that every week, but that's kind of the idea.
Right.
Like going into it week to week. So he's going to be more, obviously, big play, deep threat, that kind of thing. So I don't think his reception numbers are going to be whatever Strange is going to get. So the volume's not going to be there for Brown in the pass game, but I think the yardage numbers will be higher. And if I had to pick, I'd say Strange catches more touchdowns than Brown.
Yeah, that's such a guessing game.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I'm like 50 for 505. You know what I mean? And with a tremendous impact in the running game. And if he gives you that every year, then and he fits that role and he is a guy that you can go to for a heavy target volume if some of your guys are down, so be it. But I think he's more of going to be a tone setter for this football team.
Totally agree. Yeah.
Than more important what he does without the ball in his hands than with the ball in his hands. We'll come back and look at, some people did give us projections for Brenton Strange. Others just want to talk about what kind of impact they think he's going to make. It's your Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day. First year in a Liam Cohen offense, what will Brenton Strange give the Jacksonville Jaguars? When we return, we'll wrap up this edition of Jaguars Today with a look at some of your responses to that. Coming up next on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here. I only like to recommend the best companies I trust personally, which is why I'm proud to say I chose Pella Windows and Doors for my own home. And now's a great time for you to upgrade your home with 0% financing for the next 60 months. That's 5 years of interest-free payments on the best windows and doors in the business. Don't wait. You can schedule a free consultation by going to PellaJacks.com or just visit their showroom. They're right there on Phillips Highway, just north of Bay Meadows. For quality you can trust and savings you cannot miss, that's Pella Windows and Doors.
From the edge of your radio to the edge of your seat. Showtime! Feel the excitement of live play-by-play.
And this place is rocking right now.
On 1010XL, Dreamfinders Homes Monday.
Jaguars Today.
Spring is in the air. Time to wake up your lawn with Heroes Lawn Care. Say goodbye to pesky mosquitoes with their organic and spray treatments. Perfect for outdoor fun. Keep your lawn clean and fresh with their pet waste removal for homes and businesses. Heroes Lawn Care takes care of it all. From mowing, edging, fertilizer to irrigation and much more. Visit heroeslawncare.com.
Are your monthly bills keeping you up at night, wondering how you got so behind? Hey, I'm Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. I get it. Life is expensive now. Insurance, groceries, cars. And then there's the credit card debt with those obscene interest rates. It's time to regain your financial freedom. And that's what we offer at Loan Pronto, using the power of the equity in your home. We have multiple ways to get you the cash you need, and most clients close in 2 weeks or less, and many don't even require an appraisal. And listen, rates have been plummeting recently. We just locked the homeowner in with an APR in the low fives, saving her over $1,000 per month, and put $10,000 in her pocket. Life-changing money. Whether you're drowning in debt, have a nosebleed rate you got last year, need home improvements, or simply need cash in your pocket, we can help you accomplish this goal in record time. Call us today and get started with no hard credit pull, just a conversation. LoanPronto.com, 904-999-1508. LoanPronto.com. That's LoanPronto.com.
Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
It's ET here, and did you know that slow-speed accidents can still cause serious injuries? Ignoring minor pain today can mean big problems tomorrow. Don't wait. Call my guys at McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation Center, the auto accident experts.
Remember Mom this Mother's Day with a beautiful floral arrangement from Kuhn Flowers. Max here with 1010XL, and there's no excuse for a last-minute thing when you can simply call Kuhn Flowers or go online to kuhnflowers.com.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball is home this week at the newly renovated 5-Star Ballpark. The Jumbo Shrimp take on the AAA New York Mets. Tomorrow is tacos and tequila, followed by a day game on Wednesday. Then it's Coors Light Thirsty Thursday and fireworks Friday and Saturday. Baseball all weekend. Tickets start at just $5. JackShrimp.com for tickets. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, affordable family fun.
How many different denominations of paper money are currently being used?
When you file a claim with Southern Oak Insurance, we schedule one of our trusted vendors to work directly with you, which means a faster claim resolution. Find out more at southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
There are 7 denominations of U.S. currency: the 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, 50, and $100 bills.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Give us your hot take.
Pop quiz, hot shot.
On the 1010XL text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures.
You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm awake and I speak English, so yeah, I do know what you're saying.
Be part of the conversation. 641-1010.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL.
Hey, I'm Tony from Tony D's Pizza. People ask me all day long, is it the water that makes the difference? Well, yes and no. Even water can't make a good pizza. It's the ingredients, too. The best tomatoes, the best flour, and the best cheese. Oh, and a lot of love. Tony D's New York Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295.
Bueller.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Jason, I don't see how a new air conditioner is going to work out for me.
Well, you like air conditioning, right?
Oh, yeah, totally. But a new air conditioner could be expensive.
Well, not if you...
I mean, to save up the money, I probably have to give up my extra hot skim latte every morning. Now I fall asleep during a staff meeting, get volunteered for the summer picnic committee, and end up sitting in the dunk tank all afternoon getting water up my nose.
Okay, look at it this way. Put on these sunglasses. Whoa. Bueller Air and Plumbing puts in a new AC. We hook you up with affordable financing, and you stay cool and comfortable for just $149 a month. Cool?
Cool. I see it now.
Life can be hard on your budget. If you suffer through the heat because of a broken AC you could totally afford to replace, you could visit.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
At the First Coast YMCA, you'll find much more than just a gym. We offer many ways to help you become more active, reach your weight loss goals, and find your inner strength. Membership at the Y includes state-of-the-art facilities, a huge variety of fitness classes, and programs for all ages. It's easy to join the Y since it's affordable for all incomes. The Y is a great place to make connections and experience something new. Visit the YMCA near you or online at fcymca.org.
Need or want cash? Beaches Jewelry and Pawn has cash available. Ready to buy guitars, surfboards, jewelry, firearms, tools, and especially gold. They need it all, selling or pawning. Get cash on the spot at Beaches Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
All right, coming down the stretch right here. If you like Marvel movies and you've been disappointed lately, you'll like Thunderbolts, I believe. And it was fun. I enjoyed the heck out of it and love the end credit scene at the end. So go check that out if you're in the mood. I'll probably watch that one again at some point, Tone. And now we wait patiently for what my geekdom has waited for its entire life. A good Fantastic Four movie. Come on down, baby. July 25th. That's what I'm focused on. All right. So today we're focused on Brenton Strange, what your expectations are for him. Dylan Denmark, before we get to some of the replies we got today, just give us an overview. What do you expect out of Brenton Strange this year?
I kind of expect a little bit more than what he did last year. I was looking at Cade Otton, what he did a year ago, 600 yards, 60 catches, 4 touchdowns, I believe he had. Four touchdowns. I kind of expect the same. Just a nice security blanket. Nothing, I don't expect him to have a lot of touchdowns or be a deep threat. Just 10, 12 yards per catch. About 50 to 65 catches in that range. In that ballpark.
Yeah, I'm with Tony. Like Brenton Strange will probably catch a couple where he trucks 2 guys, and you're like, why don't they do this every time? Well, you can't make a living generally trucking people in the National Football League. You know what I mean? Like, it's a run after the catch guy. That's your style. I'm just going to run over everybody. He's got the ability to do it. Boy, you wonder, like, I wonder if Brenton Strange were to miss a month, if they're going to, like, they got 2 guys that are, I feel like, Brenton Strange light.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Same style, big physical guys, not going to give you a whole lot in the passing game.
Yeah, I don't think the way the tight end gets featured gets changed at all.
I don't either,
right,
necessarily.
If Strange went out.
Like those 2 or 3 targets or 4 targets will go split up between Long and Munt.
I mean, that's kind of the explanation for why the expectations are what they are, in my mind, for Strange. I think he could handle way more than that if they wanted him to. I just don't think that's explicitly what they want to do in the offense. That it's just not the way that it's going to be designed. He could take advantage of it if he was asked to, and he's certainly the most ready to do that in the tight end room when you compare Strange to Munt and Long and these other guys. Like, Strange is the guy, right? And because Strange is the guy, that's why I'm confident saying, yeah, that's the guy that's going to get 95% of the snaps, right? But I think that's the base.
What does that translate to?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that means that he's going to be an 80 catch guy. I think it means that he's going to be a 45 to 50 catch guy, and that's fine. That's all they want him to be.
Here are a few representative responses I think that we got today from R. Corbett Art That's tough. It's going to all come down to protection, time, and play calling to keep the D guessing. Pretty much getting the opposite of everything in the last 7 years. Also 16, not getting locked on one receiver and seeing the entire field. Again, I think that's one of the things Liam Cohen needs to bring out of Trevor Lawrence, right? And just that comfort level and the going through your progressions and not getting locked on a guy. But part of that is going to be, I just think, scheming up some easy options for him that he doesn't need to get locked in. That option's going to be available immediately, and then it's up to the blocking scheme, the run after the catch to produce yards. Code Blue said, I expect a little production. Cohen's offensive scheme really doesn't use the tight end that much in the passing game. His run blocking will be more effective. Jacob says, very low, plays hard, but is limited as a pass catcher. He's definitely not, to me, like, I'm not saying, look, he's a great athlete, right? You play in the NFL, you're a great athlete. I'm sure Brenton Strange, if we watched him every practice rep, he probably makes some spectacular catches at times, right? All these guys do to one degree or another. But you're not putting him in Brock Bowers territory or prime Travis Kelce or even Evan Ingram. I think in terms of he's athletic, but he's not a dynamic pass catcher. I think he's a serviceable pass catcher.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just looking at his combine numbers. He ran 4.46, so he's plenty athletic. He's the size that he
fast,
is.
Right?
Yeah.
But I'm talking, you know what I'm talking about. The agility, the ability to.
Evan Ingram's a 4.3 guy.
Pat your feet and shake a guy. I think Evan Ingram's got a lot of that in him.
Yeah. Strange is different. Right? Like, he's not exactly that. Strange is exactly what we've been talking about here. He's a sixth offensive lineman when you need him to be that. That is he's a fine, acceptable plus receiving threat as a tight end. He's just not the guy that you go into the game plan saying, we got to get this guy 80 touches this year. He's not that, but that's not what they want in this offensive tight end. That's not what they're prioritizing at that position in this offense. The last couple of offenses did. That's why Ingram was here. That's why they were willing to give the extension. They prioritized that at the tight end position. This current regime just doesn't.
We could be wrong. The old Pappy, from this Twitter account that says old Pappy says, Strange is a great baller and was grossly underused. I expect he'll be a dominant player for the Jaguars this season.
I think he'll be dominant at what he's asked to do.
Right. I think he'll be dominant at the point of attack.
Yeah.
Just trying to drive somebody into the ground, right? I mean, look, Mercedes Lewis, I think, was a much better pass catcher, potentially, who was often underutilized. Had the 10-touchdown season, and then we always were, he didn't have the 10-touchdown season, right? Garrard, I mean, we almost can't have a conversation with David Garrard without going, why did the Jags use Mercedes more? Why didn't even I use him more? Why didn't they call more plays for this guy? So he's not that, but we love Mercedes primarily, not for that 110 touchdown season. We love him because he was just a physical menace to people. I mean, Mercedes is a different level now, too, right? I think Brenton Strange got a lot to live up to that level, but that's more the style of tight end, and you can have a lot of impactful longevity in the National Football League.
You can play a decade doing
Mercedes still wants to play another year, by the way. Hey, by the way, we got 3 guys we know are going to be on the roster. I mean, if Mercedes wants to come and take league minimum, I'd take him for a year, Tone. Honestly, if they needed that type, one more of that archetype in the tight end room, wouldn't hate that at all. Ed says he thinks he'll be the number 3 pass catcher in terms of receptions, yards, and touchdown. He'll not get enough volume to reach 1,000, but will show up in some clutch moments. I think he flashed last year, wasn't given enough looks to really get going. Well, he definitely flashed more last year than he did as a rookie.
For sure.
When he almost was non-existent as a rookie. But again, that's got a whole new coaching staff, got a whole new outlook, a whole new regime. And I think
you wouldn't put it on that last coaching staff to misuse draft picks. Shameful, Dempsey.
No. Honestly, Brenton Strange, when you think about it, just forget about the circumstances of the release of Evan Ingram. It's just the hiring of Liam Cohen and the way they want to run that offense and the vision he has for the tight end position in his offense. Brenton Strange couldn't have had it fall in his lap any better than that, right? I mean, this is exactly. I mean, Kate Otten's a pretty good. Kate Otten's a taller guy, but similar in terms of, it's like. I'm sure Brenton Strange can give us a little bit of run after the catch. He's young. He's 24 years old. He's a great athlete. But he's not a dynamic guy other than you want to see him try to truck somebody, right? Like, I enjoy that. Everyone who doesn't enjoy somebody physically getting manhandled on the football field, but I don't know how many guys he's going to catch it and make the first couple of guys miss and gain, 27 yards on the play.
He'll drag a guy for a yard or two. That's
sure.
what's strange.
I don't want to call him a catch and fall down guy, but he's closer to that than he is the Evan Ingram type or the Kelsey type. I'm not
Brenton
saying
Strange,
Ingram's equal to Kelsey.
Like, he is in my head. He's a guy that excels as a blocker, so you're going to get all that you want, and that seems to be what they keep talking about the run game. Well, Strange is a big part of that, right? What he can add to what you can do in the run game with him just being on the field. He's a big enough body that he can be a threat when you get down there in red zone goal line. He can do that kind of thing for you, but you don't have to feature him when you get to that part of the field. He's a fine enough wide receiver, but with all the other stuff he does, I think he's strong enough and big enough. He falls forward, right? Like, whenever he makes contact, the guy who hits him moves backwards, right? That's why he's such an effective blocker. The guy he's hitting when he's blocking stops. He's strong enough to handle all that kind of stuff, and I think he does that to some degree in the pass game too. He falls forward. He's not going to make guys miss. I don't expect him to break a bunch of tackles, but he's always going to be moving forward when he gets the ball.
Jay says, will Hunter, BTJ, 2 backs, plus Parker Washington and Davis, 25 to 30 catches and 3 touchdowns. So basically dialing it back a little bit there. More with Jeff Tice, who went exactly what I said, 50, 505. That's kind of the base. Anything over that in the receiving department is gravy, provided he's giving you that physical presence.
Totally agree.
That you're looking for this year. Top 15 tight end, said Lawrence. I don't know. He's probably thinking fantasy-wise.
It's in there.
I mean, it's possible.
Yeah.
For top 15, I'd have to get down into like what those numbers looked like last year. But Kevin ends with hopefully Cohen leans into him a little bit more than he did Otten. Don't know if that's going to be the case here, the way they're building it. But time will tell, and that's why we asked you for your feedback on that today. And with that, that brings us to an end of Jaguars Today. Don't forget, Tuesday top 5 for tomorrow is going to be the top 5 biggest questions you have remaining about this team now that we've gone through coaching staff hiring, front office changes, free agency, the draft. We're at where we're at. What questions do you still have? We'll answer those, or at least discuss those tomorrow, as right now we welcome in Helmets and Heels.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
Hello, Lauren Brooks.
Hello, Mike Dempsey and Tony Smith and Dylan Denmark.
How was your weekend?
My weekend was fabulous, thanks. My
Was it?
cousin, my cousin, who's basically my best friend, was in town from Denver, and so I got to see her a lot.
Did she have a baby this weekend?
She did not have a baby like
Dylan's
Dylan's
sister did, yeah.
Yeah, she did not.
He's a big winner this week.
For sure.
God.
Nieces and nephews are wonderful. So are friends with kids. We did go to a 2-year-old birthday party on Saturday. That was actually really fun because it was during the Derby.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't. I thought of the Derby anytime I was in the car and somebody mentioned it on sports radio. I've never just been a big Derby guy. People love it. I heard Jeff talk about it, like over 20 million people watched it, which is a ton.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But you also know exactly when it's going to start and exactly when it's going to end. Within the next 2.5 minutes, the whole thing's over.
Like, it is kind of nice when, especially, for instance, compare it to college baseball, and Tony knows this, there was a ton of bad weather this weekend throughout the country. So games on Saturday started, at least this is for Florida and Florida State, both had to be canceled that day and then rescheduled for the next day, so they both had to play doubleheaders on Sunday. And so then obviously you're talking about a lot of baseball, and then there's a delay on Sunday too. So, like you said, Derby's done in 2 minutes.
Right. Schedule, and everyone.
Right,
and
exactly.
And nobody knows any more than anybody else about it.
No.
Right. And they pretend they do, and they go, I picked this one based on this name. It's
sure. I did a little research, and I felt good about it.
Right. Bracket when you really haven't watched it all year, and you're like, oh, this mascot seems angry. I don't know. All right, what's coming up today on Helmets and Heels?
Yeah, so we'll keep the Jaguars conversation going, and we have Kai Stevens from Jaguars.com joining us at 12:40, so we'll chat with her. Obviously, she's gotten to sit down with a lot of the new Jaguars players, so we'll pick her brain, and we'll talk Kentucky Derby and some college football, too. We got a lot coming up.
Awesome. All right, LB, have a great show.
Thank you so much,
All
and
right.
I love when you mention the men's basketball team that won the national championship.
I didn't.
You mentioned the bracket, so I just had to throw
Pretty
it
sure I
back in
didn't.
there.
Pretty sure I didn't
Still
mention
national
anything about that.
champions over here.
That may be the case, but I certainly didn't mention it. All right, Lauren Brooks Get the hell out of here. All right. Helmets and heels coming up next here. Thanks to Chad Ryder from NFL.com for
I'm
stopping
looking at,
by.
a moment ago you mentioned the tight end scoring in fantasy.
Yes.
So I looked it up. Brenton Strange was 30th in the NFL in tight end scoring last year.
Okay.
To give you an idea, Evan Ingram was 36th last year at tight end scoring, and Kate Otten was 13th. So if he has the same kind of season that Kate Otten has, then Strange will be a top 15 guy.
Right, in that regard, and it won't feel hugely impactful.
No.
That's just the way it is. All right.
Otten was 13th. Taysom Hill was 14th.
Ooh, and he ain't going to be making any impact anytime soon either. All right, that'll do it for us. For Tony Smith and Dylan Denmark, I'm Mike Dempsey. Stick around for Helmets and Heels, and we'll talk to you